What is up, everybody? We are back and we are live here with some CCA Division 1 action featuring Penn State University Blue versus the Reef Runners out of Cal Polytechnic Pomona. My name is Spicy and I'm joined on the mic by Momo. Momo, how are you doing?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction, Spicy. We got a massive game here on our hands. How are you feeling today about this game?
I am so hyped. I saw I was scheduled to get this matchup right here, and I'm like, yes, absolute yes. Penn State University Blue coming in after winning entrance exam, after adding Vapor, and this team already with such a prolific history in CCA is like one of the favorites now to like win the whole thing. And then you got the Reef Runners coming off a great season last semester, also getting 12 in entrance exam. We were talking about this beforehand. There's so many good teams in D1, and like just amazing. Every set you're gonna see is an absolute banger.
I cannot agree with you more. Everyone who is watching is in store for some amazing Splatoon high level play here. So grab y'all's popcorn buckets, grab whatever snacks you also need, sit back, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready for PSU to give us a show, as well as Reef Runners to see, what they have to bring to the table, not as much as an established history, but definitely a strong team looking at their competitive experience in the past. And, I'm really excited to see how this is going to go down here.
Yeah, exactly. And an interesting thing to bring up here is that this is actually a rematch from Entrance Exam 2, where Penn State University, they won 2-0 over the Reef Runners, but now in CCA regular season, it's a best of 7 set. First to 4 wins the entire thing. So maybe Reef Runners having this extra set length is going to be what they need here to make those like adaptations, especially against a team as like intimidating on paper as Penn State.
For sure, for sure. Maybe Reef Runners took some of that experience from entrance exam. Maybe they've prepared for this moment right here. This is an incredible moment. We're about to start going right into it. Starting to see zones on ship-shape cargo. Let's see what weapons each team has to bring out to the table here.
Yeah, that's going to be something especially to point out here, just seeing what weapons we're going to have from each side. As we take a look at our first initial comps, you see the brush, you see the explode, typical Penn State staples, and you see, a Neo Splash also with a dually Squelcher from the end of the Reef Runners. What are your thoughts on the comps so far?
You know, Comps that you might be able to expect from Penn State, but this is an unexpected comp in my experience from Reef Runners, but definitely one that is not meant to be taken lightly. As we can see here, going straight into the bloodbath into mid, hammer coming out.
Yeah, you see how, my god, that hammer did some absolute damage right there. They weren't going to be able to cap the zone, though. Penn State in the yellow is going to still have a lot of control right now over the zone. Never mind, the zone tip flip of the Reef Runners right here. But you see from the end of Penn State, finding a lot of picks right there as Kraken finds something with an ink brush right there. And look at that, 2 down immediately from the end of the Reef Runners. And Penn State is once again in control of the zone.
It is so frail when you have that numbers advantage to push up and really make it hard for the enemy team to come back and retake that zone. And we see Penn State here doing an excellent job at that. But even so, Reef Runners is coming back, taking down 2 for Penn State. Can they reclaim the zone here on this push?
And that's incredible, actually, from the end of Penn State. Penn State went 2 down, but look, they still have control of the zone. And now the Reef Runners are 3 down in this situation. Penn State University is finding so many picks and is just able to play so well, even when they find their members some down. If you're looking at the end right now from Vapor with the Explo, not a weapon you're seeing all the time anymore in competitive, but Vapor just makes it work. And you see just how much space they're able to control right here, as like the clock is ticking down, the rain is going to come out, and I think we're about to see an early game 1 win. Maybe not so fast, actually, as the rain's going to come out. It's close right now. It's a 2 down situation at the end of Penn State, and I think Reef Runners stays alive in this game.
Such a beautiful cap with that special usage right there. It really is those heat of the moment times where you need those to be able to capture that zone. And we can see Reef Runners doing that perfectly here, being able to reclaim the zone and push back Penn State a little bit, as well as we can see their timer ticking down.
Yes, and you see Penn State's once again back in, but the Reef Runners have had control of the zone. Being able to at least put a penalty for Penn State is absolutely massive for Penn State. Is going to force the Reef Runners into a brief 2-down situation, though, and having the Zuka online from Snow is going to try and find some picks. Not going to be able to find anything off of it so far, but they're going to have the zone still, and that is absolutely massive because the zone, all of this map and paint control you see right here, they're able to keep forcing this advantage state, and that's absolutely massive as Penn State works their way through their penalty.
Now, something really nice to see about how having the spectator perspective from Penn State is you can really see that they do not leave any angle untouched. You know, making sure to shut down every single entry point into zone here, making it super rough for Reef Runners to actually come back. As we can just see, one after another, they just keep falling down. But can Penn State really continue to hold them back here for the next couple of seconds? I believe so. It looks like game one is going to Penn State.
Yeah, I love what you said there about them being able to like check like every angle by having such control, because once you saw that, all we saw was just a flurry of like picks from like any player we looked at here, which really established that advantage throughout the entire game. An absolute clinic from Penn State for the most part in that early game, but as we mentioned before, it's a longer set now. Let's see what adaptations are going to be made as we going into Tower Control and Inkblot Art Academy. Real tried and true classic in the competitive scene.
Tried and true classic, and definitely one to look out for. You know, this is a map where you can get shut down very easily if you do not push back certain locations, such as VATS on Inkblot here. And you know, are we going to witness PSU really sort of have that same sort of positioning there, trying to push back Reef Runners as much as possible? We also see a little bit of substitutions, it looks like, from the side of Reef Runners. What do you think they're cooking up here, Spicy?
You know, that fun thing. I'm looking at our like sheet for what Penn State and Reef Runners have, and Reef Runners has one of the biggest rosters in CCA, having 7 out of like the maximum 8 players. And you see like there's so many different weapons on this team now, because like you see like Bamboo, the Juniors, Tetras, different Wipers, different Chargers. I'm interested to see what we have here. I'm like trying to compare like what each player has compared to like what's on the sheet, and it's like I'm not too sure what exactly we could be seeing yet right now.
Well, either way, still really excited to see what Reef Runners has in stock here for this next game. You know, I really want to see them have some sort of plan going into this in terms of not being locked out by PSU, because again, as we mentioned earlier, this is a map where they can be locked out, and in a mode like Tower Control, you can't just sort of be locked out for most of the time because the tower continues ticking, unlike zones, you know?
Oh, for sure, yeah. And we know with how like both these teams have some have competitive experience outside of CCA, if I'm correct. Yeah, a few low inks for Reef Runners and a lot of stuff for Penn State. But so we definitely know that there's no way these teams don't have a plan going into Tower Control Inkblot Art Academy, with how common we see this in like any tournament really, whether it be the low inks or the FTIUs, even the little squid leagues, or even like anything counter pick wise. Especially, this is such a common map. There's definitely a lot of like interesting strategy that will go in both teams.
For sure, for sure. Now, I'm really excited to see, you know, with Vapor returning to Penn State, how is the Explo counterplay really going to be? You know, this is a weapon that you don't encounter a lot in competitive Splatoon. So, you know, it really is hard to figure out smart ways and effective ways to counter Vapor, especially when they play far back in a really well set up position. So, I'm really interested to see how Reef Runners sort of plan to deal with this coming into this next game.
Exactly, yeah. Being able to like play like, because you see Kraken and Vapor are running like Inkbrush and Explo, which are not exactly always the most common weapons you see. So let's look at the comps right now. What do we have going for each team right now? We see Vapor switch to Custom Jet, which is in the arsenal. We see a Charger come out, the ZF Scope from the end of the Reef Runners.
You know, we also see that Wiper Deco, and I'm really excited to see if these beacons will allow Reef Runners to really get back in there in those fights, you know, because as we saw, Penn State sort of pushed them out in the last game, but maybe these beacons will allow them to come back in.
Exactly, and now we see just us in neutral right now, and you see already that Penn State has like not they're gonna find picks now, but they immediately open with like an opening that let them just take control of mid. And look at this, a 3-down situation immediately for the Reef Runners. Penn State's already at the first checkpoint. They're gonna keep on going with this kind of advantage. They're just gonna keep steamrolling in as players are gonna start coming back in. They're gonna be approaching this ramp. The lead is already starting to approach pretty fastly here. We're already gonna get past the 50. And look at all these specials coming out for the end of Penn State. And they're gonna keep going. The tower is still there, and they're already past the second checkpoint.
You know, while it is really hard to keep up with all of these specials coming out, you can see how much that Penn State really is just coordinated in terms of fighting in the same angles and making sure to push out Reef Runners, not allowing them to even come up on the back side for a possible flank, pushing them even far out past the tree.
Yeah, they're gonna keep pushing like everything right here. They're gonna get past this third checkpoint with a 2-down situation. That's a quick win for Penn State as they go up 2-0 in the set.
You know, it really is hard to fight back against this as Reef Runners. You know, it is really difficult to sort of find a way to really take a stand and hold down your position while being able to make sure that you have an aggressor that pushes them back, especially in a case where we saw Snow in the beginning of the game instantly get a pick and then push up to their plat area, allowing Snow to even get another kill, and so much map awareness and positioning sort of lost for Reef Runners.
Yup, completely agree right there. That was like, it's such a hard adjustment for the end of the Reef Runners here, especially like when you know that Penn State is running like slightly different weapons than like what you typically expect in comp. They have deep pockets also, really. So really, it's hard to like adjust. Like, you have a lot of your adjustments are done on the fly there. Now we look at what's coming up next. We got Rainmaker, Eeltail Alley. What are your thoughts on this map mode combination?
I will not lie, this is one of my most hated map mode combinations.
You know what? I feel.
I struggle very hard on this map to sort of figure out an effective way to push back, especially after the first check goes down, you know, because it becomes this very hard location where the enemy team can set up on your bridge and you don't have anything that can really deal with those players setting up. It becomes super hard while the bloodbath deals all over alley and sort of the left side. And to me, it makes most of my games very, very difficult on this map.
No, I feel that completely. A lot of games on Eeltail Rainmaker can be incredibly difficult, especially from like either end, honestly. But both these teams immediately, I guess, have a plan going into this, as they made some quick adjustments here. And we're going to take a look at what the comps have on each side and see what's going to be rolling in on this game 3.
We see VJet coming out on the side of Vapor. No major changes. Looks like still sort of the same plan going on. Lost the Wiper Deco on the side of Reef Runners, but still around the same plan. So I'm really interested to see how they're going to change up this game.
Exactly, yeah. I love seeing the vanilla Jet Squelcher come out from Vapor right here, having the ink bag. You see 10th and Missile already from Penn State, locking 4 people in. Obviously not going to find a pick at this level, maybe, but it's going to lead to gang picks in the end right here. It's a 2-down situation for the Reef Runners right here. And Penn State's going to keep this going, forcing a 3-down situation. They're going to look to get to that first check on the left side pretty quickly. Yep, they do. And already at first check, and we are barely 30 seconds into this game.
It really is hard. You know, I want to sympathize with Reef Runners here. This is a very difficult situation to be in, and definitely in this position right here where they have the first check on the side of Penn State. You know, needing to find an entry point here is very difficult, but very necessary. With still specials coming out from both sides. You see the stamp trades the C-Jet. What can we see from here?
Yeah, but you see that Penn State was still with the Rainmakers on it, pushing it past the 50. They're going to take it all the way to the 24 before going 3 down. That's a big stop for the Reef Runners right here as they get some momentum going. They have the hammer online. They're going to pick up the Rainmaker here and try to make something happen as we are approaching back to there's going to go down, and they are going to lose the Rainmaker in the process, though. But at least they're buying themselves a little time as the hammer finds a pick right there. Going to keep finding some pressure, adding to this, trying to break the bubble as well as we see if they're going to be able to really make anything off of this.
You know, seeing Reef Runners pick off 3 from Penn State is amazing, but you have to remember Penn State has those beacons set up with the Wiper Deco. They have an entrance to come back super quickly, and you can see how beneficial it's been on the side of Penn State. Not losing any mid control and still making it super hard to really try and control this area. But Snow goes down. Reef Runners now with a numbers advantage. Can they push back here into mid and try and get this neutral up?
Yeah, exactly over here. Inkai's gonna have the Zuka online. Zuka's gonna come up. Got the first 2 shots. Gonna not be able to find anything off the Zuka right there, but adding some pressure. Finding though, which is a big pick right there, as 2 don't go down for the end of Penn State. The Hammer's gonna come out. Gonna force a 3-down situation now, as Reef Runners are making a break to that first checkpoint on the left side. Another 2 down once again for Penn State, and now with both checkpoints from each side going down, we could be in for a potential snowball. Reaper are going to have some more pressure coming up. They have the Zuka. They're going to be able to go down though, which is not ideal right here. But being able to break that first checkpoint is massive.
Definitely, I cannot agree more that being able to get that first checkpoint really puts them back in a great position here. But are they going to be able to solidify this point advantage that they're going to try and really steal from Penn State? As we can see, you know, Vapor really trying to get control right now of this sort of bridge area over here. But, you know, Reef Runners is really still holding them back as still one of them goes down, but they are not giving, which is really important and really great to see out of these Div 1 teams, you know, never giving up regardless of the situation and always able to sort of push back.
Yep, and you see those strikes coming out right there. It's going to put a stop to Penn State's run right here, as Penn State is going to go 2 down, and there's about 90 seconds to go with this one. We know that after the checkpoints are broken, Rainmaker can be a very scary game mode where it just snowballs like crazy. You put this big team, and anything can really just happen at this. And you see an absolute bloodbath happen, and Penn State wins the team fight and forces the Reapers into a 3-down situation with the Rainmaker back in mid. We're approaching the 1-minute mark, and Snow's gonna keep finding some picks with the Zuka. What an amazing play right there. This could be leading to a potential game-winning situation for Penn State.
The Zuka, they're really massive on the side of Penn State, but you can still see Reapers is not giving up, giving all they've got to hold them back as best as they can, while Jay tries to go in and get their game-making score, but being set down, while PSU still a very aggressive place. Can Reef Runners hold them back?
They're going to keep holding it for at least a little bit longer, as the bubble's going to be broken now, and it looks like the Reapers are going to be able to reestablish some position. They have the core coming up, all to come out as well. 2-down situation for the end of Penn State. Reef Runners are going to have to come close to a knockout position to win this game, as the Rainmaker is still over there. It's got to be reset here. Last 20 seconds before a potential overtime. This is going to be interesting here. We're in a mid situation. What a pick right there from the... Still going to be able to force another thing. Got to be able to maybe look for another here. Not going to be able to find it real quick. With 10 seconds to go before an overtime, are they going to be able to pick it up here? Strikes come out right now from the end of the Reef Runners. Reef Runners are going to have the Rainmaker here from this end of the Charger. Going to force into an overtime situation. This could be big right here. We're in the final push of the game right now for the Reef Runners. Do or die.
Oh my god, the tension is up in Reef Runners, unfortunately, with the flank. Oh
what a
my
flank
god.
right there.
What an amazing flank by Penn State to really shut down that overtime. You know, I was really rooting for Reef Runners there. I wanted to see them really give it a final shot, you know, really stay strong during that game, which is not easy on this map mode. But seeing that from them really was sort of rooting for them at the end there, but unfortunately the flank from Penn State.
Yeah, it just comes down to that situation where you can tell that's where Penn State's experience just really shows. A perennial force in CCA where, like, yeah, they understand the overtime situation, knowing that they go for the flank right there. I will give a ton of props to the Reef Runners, though, for how they've been playing that game, especially after an absolute dominating game from Penn State in Game 2. That's really massive, and you're seeing a lot of, like, positive things for if you're the Reef Runners here, even if they did lose that game.
For sure, for sure. And just as a reminder to our viewers, this is not the first time that these two teams have gone up. They actually went up against each other in the entrance exam for CCA, and you can really see here that Reef Runners has definitely learned a lot. As the entrance exam was a full 2-0, but Reef Runners here is really playing strong and really trying to hold, Penn State back. But can they really do much against this upcoming game in Clam Blitz Scorch? Penn State's currently up 2-0, but will that change this coming game?
Exactly. And we know Clam Blitz. Clam Blitz is a mode where brushes especially get a lot of value. This is very big considering we have Kraken, one of the best brushes, especially just in the collegiate scene, and the overall North American scene. So this is exactly what Penn State wants to have, a set point on Clam Blitz Scorch. I'm wondering what it's like for the Reef Runners right now. Like, you're down 3-0, but you're not out of the set yet. Taking this one game at a time, you can still come back. We've seen it happen before in CCA. You can be down 3-0, but if you have the mental strength to be able to come back, one game at a time, it's all you need here. If they get this next game, we could be going to a Game 7.
And I would love to see a Game 7 between these two teams right here. Going straight into this next game, Vapor back on the Explo, the tried and true, and seeing a couple weapon swaps here from the side of Reef Runners with the L Tetras as well as the Rapid Blaster Deco. Very powerful weapons right now in the current meta, and I'm really excited to see how we're going to start off this game.
Yeah, exactly. I love watching Light Tetra just because I'm a huge fan of watching Zipcaster action. And you see Kraken's going to go down pretty early right there. And this could be big right now and the Reef Runners here. They are going to go 2 down in this situation though, and the clam economy from both sides just isn't really developed yet. But right now, just being able to find some picks in this established neutral, establishing mid is going to be so important in this early game.
Establishing mid on this map, especially because mid allows you to really take control of so much within the flow of this game. Regardless of the current clan economy, being able to hold mid allows you to essentially hold the whole map. Vapor not taking mid lightly though, making sure to even still control it from the back, which is really insane seeing this here.
Exactly, yeah, and there's a lot of clams now being made on the end of Penn State here. If they want to make something happen, they could. But Vapor is going to go down, which is a big deal considering how many clams they had available. But right now, you see Kraken, you know how good brushes can be in Clam Blitz, and this absolute menace right here. They're going to look for a pick right here, potentially. You're going to look for that flank, and you see that being able to do this. The whale is going to come out now from Kraken, and you see a lot of clams on the end of Penn State. The Zuka is going to force an entry option as well, and force the potential picks here. Look at that pick right there. They're going to take that trade, though. But a 2-down situation from the Reef Runners might be leading to a potential scoring situation soon for Penn State.
With so many clams on the side of Penn State, can Reef Runners really needs to get back in here and get back fast to make sure that they don't fall behind too far. No control on mid, and with still clams on the side of Penn State, can Penn State continue to solidify their lead? And they are. Reef Runners really need to try and find a way to push them back here and, really establish their control back. But they are seeming to be struggling.
Yes, immediate 2-down situation. Honestly, I looked away for 2 seconds and I saw Penn State went from 100 to 50, which is really just amazing play and just amazing how clean this team is with their synergy and understanding the game plan. Kraken's gonna have a power already, and being able to find some picture there, it's gonna be absolutely massive here. Reef Runners holding strong though with that crab, and being able to just prevent Penn State from making a scoring opportunity immediately though is absolutely massive. They're not out of it yet. It is a lead though that is gonna be a bit of a work through, but Reef Runners is a solid team right here. Being able, if they can establish something here, get their clam economy up, they might be able to make something happen. But got wiped from the end of Penn State onto the Reef Runners. Gonna make things very difficult now as Penn State's gonna keep going, gonna score and try to push up on this advantage.
The wipeout is really going to hurt Reef Runners here, as you see Penn State going straight in and setting up with a bloodbath going on by the side of Reef Runners. Look at Vapor over there with the Explo really being able to set up and knock out so much area from this snipe area, and we can really just see how difficult it is to enter back against Penn State.
Yeah, we're just watching Baber find consistent picks, whether it be on the left or whether it be on the right. It's very difficult for the Reef Runners to establish anything right now, and the bomb presence from the end of Penn State is making things even more hard. As you see, the Killer Whale is going to be an entry option, but the Kraken Bear is going to go down here. The Jet is going to be able to put in some work, finding a pick. Is redrum from the end of the Reef Runners, going to force a slight two-down situation briefly for Penn State, but we see how many clams Penn State has throughout this entire game, and having the Zuka online also, they might be looking to end this game soon.
Something really impressive about Reef Runners is really their special coordination. You can see that, you know, a couple of minutes ago, you could see right, you had the whale pop, you had the inkjet pop, you had the crab pop, and that really let them take back so much control of this mid area. But with only 40 seconds in the game, what can they do about this control with Penn State causing another bloodbath on the side of Reef Runners? Will they solidify their lead and maybe even reach a knockout here?
Might be seeing a knockout here potentially, yeah, because that's a power already built up from Jay. They're going to pass it up here, and it's a two-down situation. Nizuka is also online. This could be a very scary situation, but the basket is going to close, which also gives for the end of the Reef Runners, which is massive here. At least gives them an overtime situation, but Nazuka is going to keep trying to find some picks. Not going to be able to do so. And the splash shot is going to go down right here. Reef Runners is going to look to find an opening of their own. They're going to pass it up to and potentially force it here. The Zipcaster's got to try and find some picks from the end of Penn State. And Reef Runners are just trying to force something here. They have an overtime situation. If they could get a score here, but it's a three-down situation. I think this might be the end of the set, though, as Penn State, with the overtime coming to a close soon, should be able to win in a 4-0.
You know, Penn State really locking Reef Runners out there really hurt them towards the end, as Penn State sort of held the claim economy the entire game, while Reef Runners struggled really at the end there. Regardless of taking mid or not, if they don't have the clams and they don't have the pity to also follow up with it, then the overtime won't really matter. And we could see that in a case like this, where they had the one pity, but they didn't have the claims to even follow up with it. So regardless of whether that push was successful or not, you know, it was really going to be a struggle on the side of Reef Runners. And seeing Penn State really shut them down here is a wonderful feat.
Exactly, yeah. Absolute props to Penn State for just amazing gameplay all 4 games right there. Really showing why they won entrance exam coming into this season, and really showing why they are one of the favorites. Reef Runners also having a lot of notable highlights throughout the set. And you know what? While the set ended in a 4-0, the stream isn't over yet, because fun CCA tradition, we like to do play all 7, so even if the set ends in like a 4-0 in 4, 5, 6 games, a lot of teams will opt to play all 7 games, whether they want to mess around with like fun comps, whether they want to give some experience to the newer players. I love this tradition, and we get to see more Splatoon, so I'm always hyped for that.
I love to see some more Splatoon, so sign me up anytime that there's a PA7. You know, I always suggest our teams on our university always do a PA7 just for the fun of it. And you know, with a map like Zone's Hagglefish, I don't know about you, Spicy, but this is one of my favorite maps as a Tri-Nouveau player, because of these flanks on this map are just so volatile, and if you see one opportunity and you really take it, the entire game can change here. And so I want your thoughts on this map. What are your thoughts on this map mode, Spicy?
I'm a huge Hagglefish fan in a lot of modes, honestly. So it's like Haggle Zones, one of my favorite things. You mentioned it earlier, like a lot of the potential for flanks, especially as a tri player, is so fun. There's so much, like, and especially having Cooler, once you get that, you can push up really on your advantage there, and really just make your team just like, when you're in momentum and in control, Haggle Zoned, especially as a Tri-Nouveau player, it just feels so fun. And I'm absolutely happy to see it here.
It is definitely one of the most fun maps, I feel, in this game. And you know, looking at the weapons that these teams play, they have weapons to really abuse and use these flanks. But something that we didn't touch on is the ability for a player to play on Canopy and really shut down those flanks coming in. And you know, I really expect this coming out from both teams, and I'm really excited to see what they're going to bring to the table. Whether we're going to see some funny weapons, whether we're going to see some serious weapons. Let's see here.
Well, it looks like we're seeing serious weapons at the end of Penn State. We see the Bamboo come out. We see a Dark Tetra come out from the end of the Reef Runners here. Couple weapons weapon comp changes. I'm excited. We get to see some bamboo action also, which I'm always down for this, no matter what game mode we're seeing. So I'm excited just to watch this now. But look at this, Penn State. You can tell with how confident they are in this, immediately taking the zone, having some control, and I'm assuming you're going to be seeing Vapor on the canopy, as we were mentioning earlier, just being able to control so much space. And look at that 2-down situation right there. Vapor's going to drop down off the canopy, have the rain online though, and with this kind of advantage in a 3-down situation for the Reef Runners, Penn State is absolutely just establishing control over this game so far.
You know, with seeing Vapor play on that canopy, it is really hard to really contest an Explo on this map. You need some sort of utility, whether that's special or bombs, to really push out those backlines on this map. But we see Reef Runners not giving up, coming back in with the bamboo, also getting kills. 2 down on the side of Penn State. Will we see Reef Runners really try and take zone here? Yes, they will.
Yes, and that's massive right there, because not only do they get a chance to start scoring and finding some picks as well, but they're going to be able to force a penalty on the Penn State. Reachum is going to go down to Vapor, though. Vapor trying to do their best to hold off on this onslaught from the end of the Reef Runners. Reef Runners going to keep control of the zone, though. The rain is going to make things a bit more difficult to do so, though, and offer some chip damage, but Penn State is having a bit of a hard time actually getting the zone. Never mind. Penn State is going to be able to force the zone, but it looks like the strikes are going to come out, and they're not going to be able to cap, though. Just amazing ink coverage right there. The Reach Slider cheese is going to work out, though, as Reef Runners once again back into control of the zone. Maybe not for long, though. It looks like Penn State is going to try to flip the zone once again. Catches go down from the end of the Reef Runners. The brush cracking goes down to the end of Penn State, but Penn State's going to have control of the zone, though. I'm going to stop saying that because it looks like the Reef Runners like to flip, and this is the most fun I've had commentating. Just the zone flips over and over. Oh, yeah, it's going to flip again.
You know, we love to see this from both sides of these teams, really putting in everything they've got to try and maintain control of the zone, which is not easy at all on this map, but, you know, ultimately looks like Penn State is going to really take the advantage. But as we saw earlier on, Reef Runners were able to push them back and really sort of gain an advantage here, and they are not far off from still taking this match right now, regardless of whether it's counts or not. But you can see Snow really setting down and not letting Reef Runners come back in. One still alive on the side of Reef Runners. The clock will start ticking down as the overtime is not going to really come into play here, you know. But as we can see, the score is ticking down. What do you think is going to come out here on this side?
You know what? At this point, it's just how does the Reef Runners figure and stop Penn State here? Because the Reef Slide is going to come out, though. The strikes are going to be coming out, and that's exactly what I was thinking we were going to see from the Reef Runners, because we know how good of special coordination they've had lately. But the bamboo redrum is going to be the only one up right now. It's a 3-down situation, and while they were able to buy some time, Penn State once again has control of the zone, and I think they're going to be able to find a pick on the redrum, but it's going to take 2 right now at least.
Cracking with this flank right here, you know, playing a little bit sneaky under this canopy, still throwing those bombs though, being a really big nuisance, you know, because I really hate it when they throw bombs back there. But Kraken goes down. Right now, numbers advantage on Reef Runners with the specials coming out. You know, we can see really flopping the in-between kills on one side and kills on the other. The zone also turning around. Can Reef Runners really try and push back here in the minute and 20 seconds left?
Yes, and now the Reef Runners are going to go 2 down in this situation, but this game has felt very close so far up until now. That wipe, though, that's massive for the end of Penn State right here, because now it looks like this should be game. Having this positional advantage, you know how Snow is going to be able to find any picks right here. No, Kraken was already up there trying to find something before going down. And with the clock at the 1, the Reef Slider isn't going to come out in time as Penn State takes this game. But I don't know about you, but this was a very close game for the most part.
One of the most interesting games I have watched on this map mode from both sides. You know, these teams are amazing, really seeing what they can do. The amount of times that zone has flipped on both sides, the amount of bloodbath that we saw happening in mid, the amount of specials we saw, it really is amazing, and this is peak Splatoon right here.
Yeah, honestly, I thought I was watching like brine water zones for a bit because of like how many zone flips there were at one point where the zone just kept flipping back and forth. As a commentator, I absolutely love just watching that. It's like hard as heck to commentate sometimes, but it's so fun, and I love just seeing like the zone flips over and over again. I would imagine it's very stressful playing it, but like watching it, that was very fun.
You know, I really have to give credit where credit is due here to the side of Reef Runners. You know, playing against a team like Penn State, that takes a lot of mental strength and really
Yes.
keeping in, like, staying dialed in these situations is so demanding on both sides. And I'm really, really impressed to see Reef Runners, you know, really still being able to hold their ground and really trying to shut down Penn State, regardless of whether the game is over or not. Because in Splatoon, it's never really over till it is over.
Exactly, yeah, having that mental strength, because like especially because we knew going in, Penn State was one of the favorites of this division. So like Reef Runners honestly has been very impressive. Like you look at the results and like yeah, you'll see 4-0, but like the individual and like overall team play from the Reef Runners has been incredible. Like throughout the games here, and you saw that a lot last game. I'm curious going into Tower Control Sturgeon, assuming that both teams play like similar comps or at least comps that they would actually play in games. I wonder what more adjustments are we gonna see from the Reef Runners, because like you've been seeing the adaptation over time and it's just been getting better and better honestly for the Reef Runners.
I can only agree with you really here, Spicy. You know, Reef Runners just seem to be getting more and more comfortable as this set goes on. And I'm really excited to see what they can do here on the map mode Sturgeon Tower. But this is a map mode where they have to be careful. One of the easiest maps I feel to be locked out of, and once again
Yes.
on a mode where you do not want to be locked out of. And so I'm really interested to see they really need some sort of utility to try and really shut down Vapor, because I have not seen too much of Vapor really being shut down here with the terms of special and sub usage. But on a map like this, you really need to be able to shut down and not let them play on their snipe area. So let's see what they're gonna bring to the table here.
Yeah, exactly. I love the point you made there about like how do you shut down Vapor here. Vapor's gonna be operating for the Sea Jets, and after the end of the Reapers, they bring out the E leader here. So I think that was the counterplay I was thinking they were gonna do, bring in some charger to outrange them and just see if how much space they're gonna be able to control here. Both teams are opening up here, trying to find just try and secure mid at this point before pushing for tower, because that's what good teams in CCA to D1 are doing right now. As you see, both these teams are just trying to establish control of mid right here. The splash is going to go down, but there is soda available from the end of the Reef Runners here. The rain is going to make this a bit more difficult, but 2 down from each side. As Penn State does have control of the tower, they are going to get to that first checkpoint, as the splash is the only one up for a bit over for the Reef Runners.
Seeing the Wiper Deco come back here really has to be scary for Reef Runners, because once again, if they cannot push back Penn State has those beacons and you can see them already set up there. They have those tools to really come back in, and regardless of what weapons they're running and how they can shut down the team, if they cannot push back and really solidify their locations here in map control, they will get shut down. But still seeing them really trying to play aggressive here and trying to take up that map control, not letting Penn State get a crazy lead really is amazing here.
Yes, exactly. But you see Penn State is just being able to, this is where they've excelled throughout this entire set so far. Control of the map, using that map control to find these picks. And you see just kind of advantage they have. That bubble's gonna get shredded pretty quickly by Snow right here, as Snow's gonna try to find some more picks right here. Going to look to get another pick on the Wendell, not gonna be able to do so right now, but the tower's already at the 8. Make that, this could be a potential knockout right here, as what another win for Penn State.
You know, once again, this is one of the maps that you have to be careful not to be locked out of. We weren't even paying attention to the tower. We were too focused on Snow being pushed back in a corner, and before we even know it, the tower is at 10 points left. And really, this is one of the map modes that you have to be very careful about this. But, you know, still seeing Reef Runners being strong, I'm really excited to see what they bring back on the next mode, which I believe is Humpback Rain. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep, Humpback Rain. Honestly, a favorite map for some people. I've heard some mixed feelings from others. So what are your thoughts going into Rainmaker Humpback?
I'm trying so hard to learn how to play Humpback as a Tri Nouveau player. I have all of my friends and a bunch of people within the competitive scene telling me, you are a slosher player, this is your playground. And I'm really sitting here baffled and confused because this map really perplexes me. A map where flanks are so easy and so surrounded, it's really hard to sort of try and just hold a position there and not be aware of your surroundings. And I'm really curious to see how this is going to play in this set specifically, where, Penn State, we've seen them really abuse these flanks, and Reef runners really try and be aware of these flanks. So I'm really curious to see, but what are your thoughts on this map mode, Spicy?
I was going off the idea of, like, you mentioned how, like, it really can be like a bucket playground, and it's just really good for sloshers in general. So I was like looking at the what Reef Runners have, and Reef Runners don't really have any buckets, and we haven't seen much bucket play from either team aside from like Vapor. But I did notice that Wendell does have an Explo, so imagine we see like an Explo duel from between like Vapor and Wendell going into this next game.
And Explo v Explo would be very fun to watch, to be honest. Throwback to the original 8 Explo PA7
Yeah.
game that we had. Such a beautiful time. And I'm really curious to see, because Explo on this map is definitely not a weapon to be taken lightly. Being able to cover so much area and literally like see the entire map from pretty much just mid really is going to be powerful here. So I really am curious to see, whether the Expo will come out on the side of Reef Runners and what Reef Runners is going to do to shut down the Expo on the side of Penn State.
Yeah, exactly. I also just noticed that Majim, correct me if my pronunciation was wrong, that on the Reef Runners does have a Tri Nouveau in their arsenal. I would be very excited to see that as someone who like dabbled with Tri Nouveau. You play Tri Nouveau obviously, so it's like getting to see bucket action on this map. I would be very hyped to see that.
Well, going into the game strong and proud, the last game of the night, unfortunately. However, I do not think that we are going to be presented. As we see the Vapor Expo Tried and True coming out, we don't see the Expo on the side of Wendell for Reef Runners, but we do see a ballpoint on Red Drum and the new machine. I forgot, is that Machine Neo, Spicy?
Yes, Neo Machine. I saw that and I was like surprised. That's the first time we saw Neo Machine this season, at least for this team. So I'm interested to see it here. Having the Azuka especially as an option is very good of an option. And you see the Jet from the end of the Reef Runners just trying their best to try and stop Penn State right here. As Penn State has control of the Rainmaker, looking to push over onto the right side right here. And they are going to lose the Rainmaker, but they are going to put the Reef Runners into a 2-down situation. Potentially use this as an opportunity to score over on this right side here. Firing off some warning shots right now is Penn State, as they are going to look to push on the right side, and I think this should be enough to be able to break that first check.
As we said right before the game started, Penn State really abusing and using those flanks, and as we could see, that really helped them to get that first check here, as they are going straight in, not even a care in the world, 2 down on Penn State. How are they going to be able to sort of push this back? I'm really curious.
Yeah, I'm curious too, because look at this. They're already at the 32 before going down right here. Then that's a 2 down from the end of Penn State, but also a 2 down from the end of the Reef Runners briefly. And it's fun. It's always fun to notice. We typically see Rainmakers. Well, okay, never mind here, but it's already at the 12-10. The Rainmakers are going to be pushed to the 7 as Penn State is just taking any advantage they can get, taking any, and just being able to sneak the Rainmaker for extra points throughout this. Penn State is going to go 2 down here, and the Reef Runners are looking to use that railing to make an opportunity to push on their own.
Seeing the backwards Rainmaker tactic, this is a new one for me. I have not seen that before. Maybe I need to try out some of that on the side of Penn State. I don't know, maybe these are some underground tactics that they've been running, but Reef Runners are in such a good position here. If they can get a couple picks down, this check will go down like easy, but they look to be forcing it a little too early and getting shut down because of it.
Yep, thankfully they have Cooler though, which is a huge bonus in Rainmaker especially. I was going to mention it earlier that Penn State is not running a Rainmaker in this comp, or not running a Tactical in a Rainmaker comp, which you don't really see often in this meta anymore, but it's working like crazy for Penn State, who's just able to just like win fights naturally, not even really going down to even benefit from anything. They're just being able to keep consistently finding these like advantages right here. Vapor just kind of keep looking to find some more picks and just get out for some pain. And you see Jay with the Rainmaker now going to keep firing some warning shots. It's a lot of bunching up over from the Reef Runners right here, right by that last check, right by the cooler. And then with all this coming up right now, the Rainmaker's going to struggle to be pushing back in, but a 2-down situation from the end of the Reef Runners, this could be the start of the end.
You know, as you mentioned the prior comp for Penn State, we can see them running a very, very aggressive comp with 3 very Slayer skirmisher weapons, you know, V-Shot, Gallon, Brush, but also Reef Runners is refusing to give this up without a fight. Bazooka really being able to come in here and shut down Penn State. Will Reef Runners really be able? But you can also see it, Vapor sharking over here on the left. Oh, and running back. Let's see what Reef Runners can solidify their push here.
Yeah, exactly, and having one of the players marked would be massive right here. But you see that with the Rainmaker is going to go down. 3 go down from the end of the Reef Runners, and you see that Penn State is really just able to keep winning these fights as they've been doing throughout all of the 6 games prior to this. And you see why they've been so dominant so far, finding these advantages, being patient with their play, and just being able to find each and every pick that they need to get some more points on the board. The Rainmaker is already pushed into enemy territory with a minute to go right now. Reef Runner still has to break that first check if they want to keep this game alive and eventually potentially win this game.
You know, what we're trying to do on side of Reef Runners, they are doing very well to hold PSU back right now and really keeping a great eye on all of their angles, not letting a single one fly by, you know, maybe losing the fights head on, but really making sure that Penn State cannot get an unnoticed flank. And you can see that, you know, Reef Runners has really been able to shut them down because of this and not able to get this knockout here, but still losing these head-on fights. And I wonder what, you know, Reef Runners can be doing better to really try and win these fights, because they're doing really well to shut PSU down, but not to really push them back.
Exactly, and with 10 seconds to go, and Penn State having the Rainmaker, never mind, a clutch inkjet play from Redrum is going to give Reef Runners another chance at life, but that Zuka is going to make things a horrifying situation, as Penn State is going to be able to win this game and win all 7 games of this set.
Such a beautiful set that we get to commentate today, Spicy. Really seeing the potential of these 2 teams. I am very, very impressed by both sides. I know these teams will do great. You know, seeing both of their abilities to really shine in their own strengths, whether that's, you know, special coordination on the side of Reef Runners and awareness, and very much just sort of, you know, being comfortable with each other on the side of PSU. It is really beautiful to see this from both of these teams.
Yeah, exactly. I'm excited to see where both these teams go from here. It's a long season. 1 week doesn't define how the rest of your season is going to go. So take these adaptations, run with it, and see where we go from here. So that's going to be that's going to be the end of the stream for us today. End of week 1 CCA. My name is Spicy. You can find me on Twitter at @2SpicyB. Momo, where can the good people find you?
You can also find me on Twitter at InklingMomo, or you can just even at me here in the CCA server. You know, I'm more than happy to speak to any one of you guys watching today.
Glad to hear it. So yeah, that's the end of week 1 CCA for on stream, but make sure to stay tuned for all of the streams coming up next week. We're going to be back again throughout the weekend with some even more amazing games.
Love to.